End, noun, final part. 1. The final part of a period of time, an event, an activity, or a story. At the end of the week, we didn't live until the very end. The end of the book. We had to hear about the whole journey from beginning to end. It's the end of an era. Our end of season sale starts next week. There'll be a chance to ask questions at the end. Related entries, elements of a story. Furthest part. 2. The part of an object or a place that is the furthest away from its center. Turn right at the end of the road. His office is the room at the other end of the corridor. I joined the end of the queue. Go to the end of the line. You've got something on the end of your nose. Tie the end of strings together. That's his wife sitting at the far end of the table. These two products are from opposite ends of the price range. We've traveled from one end of Mexico to the other. They live in the end house. See also big end, dead end, east end, split end, tail end, finish. 3. A situation in which something does not exist anymore. The end of all his dreams. The meeting came to an end. Finished. The war was finally at an end. The coup brought his corrupt regime to an end. There's no end in sight to the present crisis. They have called for an end to violence. This latest attack could spell the end of the peace process. Let's put an end to stop these rumors once and for all. That was by no means the end of the matter. Aim. 4. An aim or a purpose. They are prepared to use violence in pursuit of their ends. She's exploiting the current situation for her own ends. He joined the society for political ends. With this end in view, in order to achieve this, they employed 50 new staff. We are willing to make any concessions necessary to this end in order to achieve this. They are working towards common ends. Parts of activity. 5. Usually singular. A part of an activity with which somebody is concerned, especially in business. We need somebody to handle the marketing end of the business. Are there any problems at your end? I have kept my end of the bargain. Of telephone line. Journey. 6. Usually singular. Either of the two places connected by a telephone call, journey, etc. I answered the phone, but there was no one at the other end. Jean is going to meet me at the other end of sports field. 7. One of the two halves of a sports field. The teams changed ends at halftime. Piece left. 8. British English. A small piece that is left after something has been used. A cigarette end. See also fag end, loose end, odds and ends. Death. 9. Usually singular. A person's death. People say end to avoid saying death. She came to an untimely end. Died young. I was with him at the end when he died. Literally, he met his end, died at the Battle of Waterloo. Extra examples. Continue until you reach the end of the road. Despite our differences, we were working to a common end. For her, shopping had become an end in itself. For her, traveling had become an end in itself rather than a means of seeing new places. He defended the morality in which the end justifies the means. He met his end at the Battle of the Little Big Horn. He wants the reports by the end of the month. He was bound to meet a violent end one day. He won't win, but he'll keep fighting to the end. Her death marks the end of an era. His story was one big lie from beginning to end. I don't enjoy studying computing. It's just a means to an end. I just caught the tail end of the movie. I was getting bored towards the end of the talk. I'll never get to the end of this book. I'm staying until the end of this week. In the end, they decided to spend Christmas at home. It stayed hot right up to the end of September. It wasn't the end of their marriage, but it was the beginning of the end. She was prepared to lie in order to achieve her ends. She wished to have a house built, and to this end, she engaged a local architect. Stand it on end. Take the free end of the rope and pass it through the hole. Talks were in progress to bring an end to the fighting. The author tied up all the loose ends of the story in the final chapter. The award was a fitting end to a distinguished career. The bank is right at the end of the street. The car was lifted up by the winds and tumbled end over end along the ground. The company believes in throwing new employees in at the deep end with no training. The end came when he collapsed after playing golf. The famous Las Vegas Strip is about 3 miles from end to end. The film's bankers were designed with the end product. The injury brought her career to an early end. The loss of this contract could signal the end of the line for the shipyard. The meeting finally came to an end at 6. The money might have been used to more beneficial ends. The proceedings are expected to be at an end by 6 p.m. The rope was unfastened at one end. The teams changed ends at halftime. The two parties represent opposite ends of the political spectrum. They get married at the end of the movie. Tie both ends of the string together. Turn into Hope Street, and our house is right at the end. We tried cutting through a back road, but it was a dead end. We walked along the whole promenade, from end to end. We will fight this case to the bitter end. What the business community wants is an end to the recession. You don't know who the murderer is until right at the end of the book. You should have your hair trimmed every few weeks to get rid of split ends. A dead end job. Call for an end to the violence. House buyers at the cheap end of the market. The southern end of the lake. To come to a sticky end. To come to a sticky, unpleasant, but deserved end. I hope to finish this by the end of the week. It was the end of all his dreams. Let's put an end to these rumors once and for all. Stand the bugs on end. That's only okay if you believe that the end justifies the means. The coup brought his corrupt regime to an end. The meeting came to an end. There'll be a chance to ask questions at the end. They finally get named at the end of the book. We are willing to make any concessions necessary to this end. We had to hear about the whole journey from beginning to end. We need someone to handle the marketing end of the business. We've traveled from one end of Mexico to the other. With this end in view, they employed 50 new sales reps. You've got something on the end of your nose